Aw yeah boy, it's Shaq Fu! Okay, I know this game sucks, believe me, I know. But that's all the more reason why this game needs to be reviewed. You have to understand, back in the 90s, if you were a kid, basketball and video games were amazing. And the thought of bringing the two together in a non-sports title was incredible. But we all know how that turned out. There's just something about this game. I mean, I've never played a video game that has pissed me off this bad, especially not a fighting game. From the mind-numbingly stupid storyline to the god-awful controls all the way down to the sound effects, this game is pure evil. And I know what you're thinking, well, just don't play it then, it's easy, right? Wrong. This game, after it's been put in your console, cannot be stopped. Well, here we go. One small step for man, one giant leap for loss of sanity. This is Shaq Fu. From the very beginning, this game takes a dive off the deep end. The freaking title screen is horrendous. That is some terrible art. Just awful. And then the logo comes careening onto the screen and blocks off a good portion of the picture. Awesome. The storyline, if you can call it that, centers around Shaquille O'Neal as he heads to a charity basketball game in Tokyo, Japan. For some reason, he walks into a kung fu dojo and talks to an ancient kung fu master. He's then hurled into the other dimension as he has to rescue a boy named Nezu.
Whoa.
Okay, there's just so much that's just terrible about that premise. But putting that aside, this just seems like a lazy way to incorporate a storyline into this game. If EA wanted to make a fighting game with Shaquille O'Neal, just do that. Don't try and make up some sort of BS story about kung fu and mummies. That just makes the game even more annoying. Let's set things straight though. I didn't expect to play a good game here, I realize that. But I did expect to be able to play this game. The controls are awful. It feels like you're constantly wrestling with the game just to get your character to move. Which, in a fighting game like this, where you in fact need your character to be able to move across the screen, this is a huge problem. The overworld? My god, what in the hell happened here? It looks like the 16-bit blast processing just blew up. Like, seriously, does this not resemble an NES 8-bit graphics? And this game was made in 1994. I can't play any more of this garbage. The fights are impossible, and if you beat this game, you deserve a medal. That's all that can be said about it, really. This game is notorious among old-school gamers that grew up playing this monstrosity, just like myself. And if you haven't played it, believe me, it's not worth your time. An interesting fact, did you know EA made another basketball-related video game that had nothing to do with basketball at all? Yeah, it was called Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City. And that game was awful too. Both of these games came out around the same time, so it wouldn't hurt to take a look. Shall we? This game, while not as bad as Shaq Fu, is still pretty horrendous. Again, the controls are kinda stiff, but nowhere near as bad as Shaq Fu. In this game, you play as Michael Jordan trying to rescue all of the other NBA players from these monster things. You find them by opening doors with keys, and your only means of attacking them is by throwing basketballs at your enemies. Okay. Where does he get all of these basketballs? And why does he have to constantly be dribbling them? Maybe I'm thinking too much into this. You know, this game isn't all that bad. It sucks, yeah, but it has a certain crappiness about it that makes it a little entertaining. It's at least somewhat playable as opposed to that other game. Ooh. All in all, this game's a little better than its counterpart, but that's like saying being stabbed in the chest isn't as bad as being buried alive. Basically, the game is still pretty awful. So yeah, that being said, it's a really good thing that after this, EA kept basketball where it belongs, in sports games. Because both of these games bombed so hard that the sequel that was in plans for Shaq Fu was botched, and simply turned into a hip-hop album. I'm dead freaking serious. What? Wait. No!
There's no escape. Death becomes you. You might as well surrender. You're tagged to the end of time. Dreams come true. Now you're on prime time.